This conference will now be recorded.
I'm going to tell you, I think I really want that job where all you have to say for your income is to basically articulate this call is being recorded. That sounds like a great gig. Oh, we're going to get rolling here in about 1 minute. There are a couple of folks still logging in. We'll make sure that they have time to do so. So we'll get rolling here about, I don't know, 45 seconds or so. And Kendra, just doing one more sound check. You can hear me okay?
I can.
Perfect, thanks. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get rolling here. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedules to have a conversation today. My name is Eric Lynn. I'm Chief Commercial Officer for TLC Companies. If you can move that slide up, Kendra, that'd be great. And I'm here today with Steve Thorne, Senior National Sales Manager for TLC Companies. Say hello, Steve.
Good morning.
So today, what we want to do is spend a little bit of time, about 30 minutes or so, just in presenting to you some recent changes. 2020 was a tough year with the pandemic, and we wanted to share some different products, solutions, maybe some value adds you weren't aware of when it comes to presenting TLC to your clients. So we've got a few things we're going to cover today. We also will have an opportunity for your questions. Unfortunately, we don't have a telephonic solution today. Is a chat box. So a little housekeeping on it. If you look at the top right-hand corner, you see that little chat box. Just click on that, throw a question in the queue, and we will answer that for you at the end of the presentation. It might even be answered as Steve goes through the presentation. Additionally, if you don't want to see that top bar, you can go into Everyone, that little four square, and click on Hide Everyone. That way you'll just see the presentation itself. and you won't see anything else queued up. So let's take a look at the agenda today. We're going to start with our new Road Warrior Rewards loyalty program. Say that 3 times fast, I dare ya. And that's really going to hopefully emphasize and gamify some additional activities that you're already doing with us, but we're going to reward you for it. We're really excited to go over the value equation. I just mentioned some value added services. We're hoping this will quantify and illustrate on paper through a universal language called dollars to translate the additional value received from working with TLC as a solution. We just inked a couple of contracts with candidate sourcing solutions because that's something that we all hear about every day about our talent shortage in transportation. We've got some new health benefit options, which again, we think about talent. There's attraction, there's retention. So we're hoping with these robust plans, our clients could do a much, much better job retaining talent. And then we also want to emphasize some non-trucking solutions that we are privy to as our family of companies continues to expand. So with that, Steve, I'm going to kick it over to you. Take it away.
Thanks, Eric, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking a half hour out of your day. I know getting to year end here, it's getting to be a busy time, so I appreciate you making the effort to join us this morning, and hopefully we'll make that worth your while. I see some familiar names, some not as familiar with. So for those that don't know me, again, my name is Steve Thorne, and my role here at TLC is to manage our agent broker channel, meaning I manage our other agent representatives here. And we, as a team, will help you shepherd submissions through the pipeline, through our underwriting process, and eventually help you present and close those deals with your client. So I've been here at TLC for 17 years now. Prior to that, I was in your shoes. I was an insurance agent for many years prior to coming over to TLC. And I only mention that because I understand your world. I lived it. I walked in your shoes. And so I'm always aware when we're coming up with any kind of new program, new products. My first reaction is, if I was an agent, how would I react to this? How would I use it? So with that, the first item that we wanted to walk through that is new this year at TLC is our Road Warriors Rewards program. You're not kidding, Eric. That's hard to say once, much less 3 times. But the reason we came up with this program is really to enhance our partnership with our agent partners, to show our appreciation beyond just sending a commission check every month, which I know you're not going to turn it down, but we wanted to take it one step further. And how can we interact every day? And that could be simple things like social media follows, likes, reposts in LinkedIn and our Facebook sites, things like that. Google reviews, positive Google reviews are always welcome. The more the better. I think we all know how Google works. So the more positive reviews, it bumps up your profile when you do a search. So that would be helpful. And then, you get into the items that you would expect would be here, like, well, do I get any points for a submission? Yes, as it ramps up from the social networking stuff to submissions, to referrals, helping us present our solution to your client. As those stair steps go up, the point values go up along with that. And then ultimately, the goal for all of us is acquisitions. And so when we sign a new client, when we renew a client, that will be the highest point values. So with that, if we can just briefly look at the various reward levels, And again, you'll see that this is in no means meant to make any of you rich. It's meant just to work alongside with us as a partner. And as a result, you'll see at 1,000 points, you get a $10 gift card. You know, it could be from Amazon, hotels.com. I think there's a couple other choices that you can choose from. And it escalates up fairly rapidly to the 5 and 10,000 point level. Once you sign up for the program, you'll be able to obviously log into the site and you'll see more detail on how you can accumulate points quickly. But I can just tell you that, you know, a few submissions, some social media posts, you can get to that 10,000 point level fairly easily. Now, if we sell a couple of deals, we get there real quick and then some, and get closer to the 25 and 50,000 point level. So that's in effect how the Road Warriors program works. Eventually, you get to a warrior status at the end of the year, and that is cumulative points where you'd be eligible for an even higher reward than the ones listed on the left there. So as you ascend and make it to these various categories, the prizes get larger, and there's drawings at the end of the year to determine who is the ambassador of the road, chairman of the road, king of the road. So I think we'll have fun together if you participate. Yes, there's prizes as well, but this is really all about showing on an ongoing basis throughout the week, throughout a month, that we're in this together, and we are true partners. So that's really the goal here. And
who doesn't want to be?
Go ahead,
Who doesn't want
Eric.
to be king of the road? Who doesn't want to be king of the road? See,
Yeah,
I'm one of those.
yeah.
I'm one of those wazers that if I get like a crown on Waze just because I pointed out a cop, like I get points. I'm just loving it, and there's no extrinsic value there. But if you take this, what we're really trying to do, obviously the ultimate win is acquisition. That's a win-win-win. It's a win for your clients, win for you, win for us. But what we're also trying to do is incent you on certain behaviors that lead to more wins. So take co-presenting for a minute. We know by data that the more often we can co-present with you to your client, we win more deals. So why not incent to that? So that's in essence what's behind this, is that every social media post matters, every co-branding opportunity matters, and co-presentations, we know by data, is our win rate goes up. So that's why we're trying to incent that. The ultimate victory is, of course, more acquisitions. That's a three-way win. But this warrior status, I mean, we just want to have some fun with it. So we want a lot of kings of the road, not just one at the end of the year.
Thanks, Eric. So with that said, please reach out to me if you need any help signing up for this program. I know you've probably received emails from us in the past about it. You will in the future. But in the meantime, if you want to get started on this, and I know you do, just reach out to me and we'll make sure we get you signed up. So with that brings us to the second major change that we wanted to talk about today. And that is, how do we present our services to your clients? Now, I'm gonna ask you to really put your thinking caps on. If you have music in the background, turn it down, get the dog out of the room, whatever you need to do, because I realize there's a lot going on this page. And rest assured, we'll walk through it so it'll make sense to you. But the whole purpose of us coming up with this, and this is, we call it our value equation. The reason we came up with it is we feel and we know we provide a tremendous amount of value to our clients, but it's difficult to quantify, right? And that has been our issue over the years, is not being able to demonstrate our value proposition effectively. And as Eric said at the top, what's the common denominator in business? It's dollars. So we've realized for a long time we've needed to do this. and we finally made it a priority to get it done. This is our first attempt, so we're definitely interested in any feedback you can provide, either after you view this today, after you have a chance to go through one or two of these when we present to a client. But please give us feedback. We're not, our egos aren't going to be bruised if you say we hate it. We do like it, but you really need to change this part of it. Just be honest and let us know what you think. We're real curious about that. So let's walk through this so it'll make more sense to you. At the very top, that is the section that you're probably most used to seeing from TLC. So in the top left corner, you see the very basics of our quote, the description, state, class code, wages, etc. And then finalizing with the TLC rate for each class code. Now, as you know, or hopefully most of you know, our rate is always going to include all of the payroll taxes that that client is already paying. So essentially, the payroll tax portion is a pass through. So what we do in the next area to the right is strip out the payroll taxes from our rate so that we arrive at the total workers' comp and admin portion. That is the real dollar amount that any client is going to evaluate when they're trying to compare. Here's what we're paying today. What is TLC going to charge us? So that is that 193,784 in the top right box there. So in the past, what that meant was we had to take that number, compare it to what they're currently paying or what the renewal pricing looks like for their workers' comp, right? That's all we really had. It was, here's our 193, you're currently paying, let's say, the 218,000. So great, we're saving you money, but really there's a whole lot of hidden value here that we have not been able to quantify. So this middle section is our attempt to quantify that. So if you go through each box, you'll see we have put a number to things like what we do with our safety department. If we're quoting the employee benefits, whether it's health insurance, 401k, any of our other benefits, where is the savings there? And not just the hard dollar savings, but also the savings in having us administer those plans so they don't have to do it or hire a third party that would have to do some of these things. Same thing with payroll. Here's what you're saving versus having to hire an ADP or Paychex to do your payroll, or the time involved that it takes if you're doing it internally. And so you move across our driver screening and DOT compliance, another huge area where if a trucking company that we're working with is truly screening and managing their driver files the way they need to be, we can put a pretty firm estimate on what that would cost for them to do it themselves or outsource it to the many companies out there who provide those services. So essentially what we're doing then is we're rolling up all of those numbers along with what they're currently paying for the workers' comp, and you end up with 257,000. And obviously on the very bottom, all we're doing is taking their total, their current annual cost and subtracting out what our cost is to show the difference. So essentially what we've done is, in the past, this would have been an exercise of showing we're saving, some $25,000, the difference between the 218 and 193. Now we're able to demonstrate really, if you take a deep dive into this, Mr. Customer, you're actually saving $63,000 a year. So now that I've walked through it, I hope that's made some sense. just like the last area with the rewards program, please feel free to reach out to me if you want to walk through this example on the phone. I can assure you it will make more sense once you use it a couple of times on live clients. But the other main point I want to make about this is the numbers we have in this middle section. They are in no way, shape, or form meant to be set in stone. Uh, the whole concept of this is to create a conversation so that they may say, hey, 4,500 for safety, that it's not anywhere near that much. Oh, really? Tell me more. What number do you think would be an accurate number for those services? And we can do that for each one of those boxes. And what's really interesting is you get to the final box, peace of mind. Well, those of us that are in the trucking industry, and even for those who are not, understand that there's a tremendous amount of nuclear verdicts out there in the trucking world for trucking companies involved with third-party claims. And very often, the reason they get themselves into a lot of trouble is what they have in the driver files. So if the driver files aren't in order, the plaintiff's attorneys have a field day. So what is the peace of mind to go to bed at night knowing we now have a partner that's on top of that, that's actively managing all of our driver files. They're helping us with our safety program. They're managing our claims thoroughly. What is that worth to you? $1, $100,000? And they may not give us an answer. They may not commit to a dollar amount, but you better believe it's going to make them think about it. And that really is the point of going through this value equation. So I hope that makes sense. And if you have any questions, again, reach out to me or just type it in the chat box and I can address it either now or when we're done with the presentation here. So that leads to the third area that's new at TLC, and that is candidate sourcing, or put another way, driver recruiting. I'm not sure if any of you have heard the news, but apparently there's a driver shortage. I don't know if anyone has heard that. The number I see and hear most often is a shortage of 80,000 drivers. It's expected to grow. No doubt, if you're in the trucking space, you hear it from a client on a daily basis. Probably hear it from all your clients on a daily basis. I know I do. So we've known about this for a while, even before the recent surge after COVID times. It's been going on in the industry for a while. We've been talking about a solution for a while. And really, there's three ways we could have attacked this issue. One is we could have said, hey, we really need to do this internally. Let's create or expand one of our departments so that we can offer driver recruiting ourselves. In a lot of ways, that would probably be the best solution. The problem is the ramp up time that it would take to hire the people, train them, build a driver database large enough for it to be relevant. We're talking a couple years easily to really have an effective solution for our clients. And it still may happen one day, but we realized we needed to do this more quickly than 2 years. So the second option would be, well, hey, just go out and acquire an existing driver recruiting company. Again, that may be possible at some point. We just haven't found the right fit. Those things are never as easy as they sound. Of course, it takes two to tango. So it hasn't happened yet. So we decided that the best thing we can do today is to partner with driver recruiting companies that already exist in the market, that are already very good at what they do. So we have partnered with two of those companies already. We're in talks with others. And what that's going to do for our clients is offer their services at a discount. That's the number one thing you need to take away. But the second thing it's done is we've taken all that legwork away from our clients, trying to figure out with all the recruiting companies calling them constantly, how do you begin to figure out who is the one or two companies we really should partner with? It's a tremendous amount of effort and work on their part. And the bottom line is when that's all done, they're still really not going to know if they made the right decision until they use the service for, 2 or 3 months. So we've done all that work for them. And we feel we have the best solutions that will apply to almost all of our clients when they're looking for drivers, because we've factored in things like, well, based on geography, who has the best solution? Maybe it's trucking versus, well, I'm more of a courier operation. I'm more of a local operation. Uh, and maybe it's the difference between we need 2 drivers versus, hey, we need 90 drivers. So all of those scenarios can be very different in determining who has the best solution for me. Um, so we've done that. And again, that is all available to our clients at a discount. So they get the best of both worlds. We've done the work. And not only that, you get that service at a discounted rate versus what you would get if you went to one of those companies on your own. So again, any questions about the driver recruiting services we have available, just enter it into the chat box or feel free to reach out to me anytime afterwards. So then the fourth area that's new at TLC is enhancements we've made to our health insurance programs. And don't log out, don't sign out. I know most of you are PNC agents and probably don't want to touch health insurance with a 10-foot pole. I hear you, but bear with me, and I think you'll find this valuable. So the way I look at this is really you have the best of both worlds because you don't have to know a whole lot about health insurance. You don't have to do any of the work involved in getting the health insurance quote. You don't have to service it. You don't have to do any of that. Yet, by working with us, you can get the credit, so to speak, for bringing a health insurance and other employee benefits solution to the table for your clients. So you're adding value. You're really bringing something to the table that can benefit them, but you don't have to do any of the work involved with that. That's our job. So that's what I mean by the best of both worlds. And I can tell you that this is increasingly becoming a bigger and bigger deal with your clients. I can assure you that very often workers' comp is not much of an issue at all, but they would love if you could bring in a solution that can help with the health insurance. That because that's another thing with the driver shortage, right? It's hard enough to find drivers and there's only so much you can pay them. I mean, the pay keeps getting ramped up, but you do need something else to help attract and equally importantly retain those drivers once you have them. And there's no better way to do that than having a robust employee benefits platform. So if you haven't been doing so already, I'd really encourage you to mix that into the conversation you have with your clients. I will tell you it will pay off. We have had, I can't tell you how many new clients came on board with us this year due to the employee benefits and not so much for the work comp piece of it was just a ride along, quite honestly. It's maybe we were higher, maybe we were lower, but it was close enough. They really didn't care. They wanted our employee benefits. So with that said, what's
Just one
new
more.
in our? Go ahead, Eric.
It's just yeah, Steve. Just one more call out there. That's not on that slide. Is 401k. And it's been really interesting for me. So I don't have the tenure Steve has. I've been here 7 months versus 17 years, but that's also everything's fresh lens for me. So it's no historical bias. From the moment I joined in March to now, I have seen the 401k compelling reason to engage increase tenfold. Last week alone, we had 3 prospects. The number one ping or pain they had was driver retention, and that was a 401k. So just in the last 7 months, this has really broached a new threshold for desire, and that's something that we also offer. So keep that in mind as well. That one of the benefits, another call there is wellness. Some folks are asking us, hey, COVID pandemic, just from a psychological play, do you have any support systems there? Yes, we do. So that's also part of that package. So when we think about driver retention, having a robust wellness/benefits offering is a must to stand out, differentiate yourself these days. Back to you, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. So I won't spend a whole lot of detail on this at all because, I mean, health insurance is a longer conversation. But I'll just briefly walk through the changes that we've made. And the first is to our master group policy through Aetna, which we've had for many, many years. We have many plan designs available that clients can choose from. None of that has changed. What has changed is we really have made a push with Aetna to take a look at the rates in a lot of the key states that we do a lot of business in, and really, I'll use the word encourage them to lower the rates. We've been successful with that, and we've seen the results already that we're definitely even more competitive in some of the key states that we operate in, and no doubt that you operate in. So that's Aetna. The second thing that some of you may not be aware of is we have a product called Trucker Med. And what Trucker Med is, it's probably easier to start with what it is not. It is not major medical insurance. It is, see it referred to as mini med or a MEC plan. So what it does is it offers at least a base level coverage for companies that have not had health insurance before to offer their employees. Maybe they're a very small group and are not eligible for a major medical plan. So this is a nice solution for companies that have had nothing before, and also they may not even be able to afford or don't believe they can afford to contribute to a major medical plan. So this allows them to at least offer a base level plan to their employees. There's options for them to buy up to add coverage on top of the base level. But then again, the nice thing is the employer does not have to contribute anything to that plan if they don't want to. It can be completely voluntary. Either way, though, even if they do contribute, it's going to be far less than they would have to contribute in a major medical plan with Aetna or with anybody else. So that has really gained a lot of traction with the current market conditions, trying to attract and retain drivers. It allows that company that has 4 drivers, 8 drivers, how can I offer them something? Well, with this Trucker Med program, they can advertise for it, and it's really helped them attract drivers and keep them. And then the third change is that top bullet point in new health plans, and that's an ICHRA plan. And I won't say all that. You can see what the acronym means there. But essentially what this is it allows the employer to offer individual health plans to each individual employee so that they can go out and find a plan that's best for them. And then the employer can reimburse them for whatever that cost is, to whatever extent they want to reimburse them for. So again, this offers a lot more flexibility. And individual plans in general are going to be less expensive than a group plan. They're often subsidized. So there's a lot of factors that play into why this option could make a lot of sense depending on the situation your client is in. I actually just got off a conference call with a client yesterday on this product, and it's perfect for them and what they're trying to accomplish with their group. So keep it in mind. It's a learning process as we walk through and quote some of these. But for today, I just want you to keep in mind that there are several options available that should and will fit pretty much any situation that your client is in with their health insurance program. So with that leads us to our final change here at TLC. Some of you may know about this, some not, but there's been several acquisitions this year that have been completed or are in the works that is going to bring our organization from about 15,000 roughly worksite employees up to around 60,000 employees. And, if you do the math on that, that equates to right around $3 billion in payroll processed annually. So I'll let that sink in just a second and think about what that means. Because what it means is obviously a lot more buying power when we're looking at more than tripling, pretty much quadrupling in size. That gives us more buying power with our workers' comp markets, our health insurance markets, all our other vendors that we work with. So it's definitely relevant for that reason. The other reason it becomes relevant is it has opened the doors for us to be able to quote virtually any industry that you may deal with out there. So historically, TLC, as you know, has been all trucking. We will continue as TLC to focus on trucking, but through our partners, we can now offer solutions in contracting and construction, healthcare services, manufacturing, staffing. Again, pretty much any industry that you may stumble across, we will be able to provide a solution for you. So with that, and again, any questions on any of these items, feel free to enter it into the chat box, reach out to me afterwards if you rather do that. Either way is fine. But I thank you for your time. I meant to keep this to 30 minutes. I didn't do too badly. I took an extra 5. But thanks again for taking the time this morning. I hope it was worthwhile for you. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Hold tight, Steve. We do have a question from Janet, Cannabis Industry. So it's a great question, Janet. It's one that, to be frank, I'm trying to stay on top of. So we've got one of our carriers, and specifically its sons, that came to us via one of these acquisitions Steve just mentioned. And so it depends on the state. So the answer is yes, they will allow us to underwrite that specific industry, but it does depend on the state. So Janet, if you could email Steve what state you have in mind, we can run that aground for you. Unfortunately, it's just not in every single state yet. And some of that is following regulation, federal versus state law. It depends on the carrier. So great question, Janet. It's a burgeoning industry. We want to be a part of it. I live in Colorado, just so you know, so very aware of it. I've got some buddies that actually run their own businesses in the industry. So we'll get back to that. We just need to know the states you want. Okay, we also have a question in the chat box. I would like to have a conversation with you after the meeting. Okay, great, Samuel. That'd be awesome. So Steve, if you could reach out to Samuel, that'd be great. And Janet replied, yes, agree, only the states that are accepting good news. Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Janet, thank you for that. And Samuel, Steve looks forward to the conversation with you as well. Any other questions on any of the slides or topics that we brought up today? We'll just pause for just a moment or two to see if anything else appears in the chat box. Going once, going twice, sold. So again, there's the contact information right there on the screen in front of you for Steve and myself. We appreciate your time. Most importantly, we appreciate your partnership, and we look forward to expanding that partnership in 2022 and beyond. And we do have a recording of this. We'll send you a link in case you want it. Thank you so much for attending. Stay safe. Have a great day.